Linda.
And I'm Lynn, and today we'd like to show you our Escher quilt that we have behind us.
Yes, and I love this quilt. It's made with some great batiks from Timeless Treasures, and I think it's really all about the light and the dark, Lynn.
Absolutely, yeah. You can definitely get some different looks, but you need the light and the dark to bring out those secondary patterns.
Right, and we talked beforehand about doing it all in black and white, which I think would be really kind of fun.
Right, and maybe some accent colors.
Right, like a red or even a lime green.
Yes, it's
I
great.
could go green.
And this is another in our series of what you can do with your cubes.
That's right. This one happens to be made with the 6-inch cube, and it uses almost everything in the 6-inch cube, right?
I know, how exciting. It uses 6 out of the 8 dies. So yeah, I think this is one, we are both going to make this pattern. It's pretty exciting.
Our future,
yes, definitely. And so for today, what we're going to do is we are going to show you a cutting trick and a sewing tip on the parallelograms.
That's right, because that's a shape that we don't all use as much as, say, our half square and our quarter square triangles.
Right, and so what we have here, though, we've got one of the blocks laid out and then also put together, and I just wanted to show that it looks really complicated.
Right, it does, and when you look at it, the finished project, it looks really complicated too, but really it's all straight seams, as you pointed out earlier, and it's just a lot of pieces.
Right, so you just, you want to make sure that you keep your pieces straight, but otherwise, I think with the straight sewing, you know, this is a very doable project and you get a great result. So, Erica, we talked that it would be also important to have your design wall to put this project together to keep all the pieces straight.
Even if your design wall is really just a piece of old batting or flannel that you've got thumbtacked to your wall, I think it's going to be really helpful for you.
Absolutely. So you could start with this corner piece, putting all of those together. Then you've got a flying geese unit here, and then a unit with squares, and then we get down to the parallelograms, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Right, and we have, this one, as we pointed out, is made in batiks. Now, I think that's a really good choice, especially for the first time you make this quilt, because parallelograms are directional. So it makes a difference how you cut out, whether your right sides are up or your right sides are down. But because the batiks are pretty much the same on either side, I think it's a good choice for this quilt.
Absolutely, yeah, one less thing to worry about. All right, so we have, this is the shape number 7 in your cube, and with the parallelogram, and then the technique we're going to show you with cutting is called the cut and shift.
Okay.
Okay, and so what we have here, we've got 3 strips of fabric that we've cut on with the lengthwise grain, so they're lengthwise strips.
Right.
And so that's important because we want to make sure that the parallelogram is cut on the lengthwise grain. So the lengthwise grain is running this direction on this fabric, okay?
Everything lengthwise.
Yes. Okay, so we are going to start by just covering that shape, and we just want to get as close as possible to the edges where the two-tone foam is, and we cover it with the mat, and then I'm going to run it through the Go Big.
Now we're using the Go Big for this, but the 6-inch cube is compatible with any of the Go cutters, so you could use it on a baby or a Go as well.
Absolutely, and I wanted to point out too, your cutting mat comes with your Go Cube.
That's right.
So that's one less thing to worry about as well.
However, if you wanted to get another cube and you were really organized, you could actually be cutting 2 dies at the same time on a Go Big.
That's right, yeah, so definitely a benefit there. So there are 3 of our perfect parallelograms, so I'll hand those to you.
I'll take those.
And then to finish demonstrating this cut and shift method, so you can see here, this is the negative fabric that's left over. So what we're going to do is we're just going to shift that strip of stacked fabric this way. And then what that does is that you've got the angle of your parallelogram matches the angle of that cut fabric, and you end up with fabric savings.
Absolutely. This is a great tip. We always like to save our fabric. The more we have left over when we're done, the better, right?
Right, exactly. We want to use every little piece of that, and then we just run it through the cutter again.
And we need a total of 40 of these parallelograms in this color for our project, because there are 5 on a side.
Right, so if you just cut your nice long strip on the lengthwise grain, you can easily cut all of those at the same
Oh,
time.
absolutely.
All right.
Okay, so now another difference with our parallelograms, and I like to take them and lay them out the way that they're going to look in my pattern is, you're going to notice points. Usually with our dog-eared corners, we don't have them. So this is a little different, and that's why we wanted to show you. So when you put them together, you actually will kind of what we call offset. So those pieces are going to go together, and you're just going to center those. You're going to have tips left on either end. You can see those. And when you sew them together, now if you want to be exacting or if you want to even be careful with your first one and measure that, take your ruler and measure it. You sure can, and if you're like me and a pinner, you can even put a pin in. But we did discover that what you want to use to sew this is going to be a scant 1/4 inch. You know, we talk about a standard 1/4 inch. The scant is going to be just a hair less than that, and that's going to make it lay out perfectly. You'll know you've got the right placement when your needle starts right there at that V, and you're going to end up down at this V.
And that's key to making sure that these parallelograms go together perfectly.
It is.
Is hitting it in those two spots.
Because it took me some practice, didn't it?
Right. And it's not a bad idea with the parallelograms to take some time to practice with those, and not with your expensive fabric that you're using for your project.
You know, and I always do recommend with any project making a sample.
Right.
So you can see now we are just perfect. I just did that a hair less than my 1/4 inch, and it's going to go right together, and now we've got a nice straight line. Now the other thing you have to remember is now we've got that little dog ear to trim off, but we don't have to do that very often with the dies.
Right, and so we'll take care of those and trim those off when we get to this point where we've got the rows all put together. We'll trim those dog ears before we sew those together.
That's right.
Right, okay, well thanks for showing us that, Erica. That is really a great tip that I think will help a lot of people put their parallelograms together.
That's right. We don't want to be scared by parallelograms.
Definitely not. So this pattern you can download at AccuQuilt.com.
And we hope to see your projects and your inspiration there as well. You can also find more inspiration on our Facebook page, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter.
We all know that at AccuQuilt we help you cut time
so you can quilt more.